Coming up, authorities rule the death of an Arcadia, Kansas woman a homicide.
Not nearly as much fog to deal with this morning as we've seen the last couple of days. What does the rest of this day hold in the week ahead? I've got that answer.
And MSSU offers adult learners a new way to complete a degree.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we had, the last couple of mornings, it's been extraordinarily foggy to the point where even on our tower cam, you couldn't see beyond the traffic lights at 7th and Range Line. Today, not nearly as foggy, thankfully, but we are still dealing with some patchy fog out there. There's not a lot of it, but if you run into it, just, be wary that it is out there. 7th and Range Line in Joplin right now looking pretty good. 65 degrees as we start this fine Wednesday morning. We got 62 in Iola, 66 Chanute, 68 Miami, and 65 in Monette. Kids getting on the bus this morning. Again, not nearly as much fog to deal with. That icon's slightly off, but we're looking at mostly clear skies. 63 degrees when they get on that bus, and later this afternoon, mostly clear skies. 82 by 3 o'clock. As we go through the rest of today, we're looking at another decent day ahead of us. 77 by noon, afternoon high of 86, 75 by 8 o'clock, mostly clear skies. And you know what's going to happen tonight? Mostly clear skies, but a pinch cooler than what we've seen. 69 at 11, 65 by 2, and 61 for an overnight low. We are going to take a look at the weekend forecast and the 7-day and talk about some rain chances and some considerably cooler temperatures on the way here in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds like we got a lot planned to talk about.
We do.
All right, good way to start the day.
Absolutely. It's a great way to start the day.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, authorities look to bring multiple charges against a Parsons, Kansas man. On Sunday, Parsons police officers responded to reports of an aggravated burglary at the 1200 block of Appleton. Officers witnessed a man, 33-year-old Mackenzie Corey Gamblin, leaving the house. When authorities took Gamblin into custody, he began kicking and biting officers in an attempt to free himself. Police say Gamblin had entered the residence through the daughter's bedroom and went through her belongings after she fled the room. Authorities seek multiple charges against Gamblin, including aggravated burglary and 2 counts of battery on law enforcement officers. On Tuesday, authorities in Mound Valley, Kansas released the name of a man found dead after a weekend house fire. Labette County deputies received a call about the fire just before midnight Saturday night. They arrived to find both the Mound Valley and Altamont rural fire departments putting out a fire at 110 East 6th Street. Firefighters discovered a body in one of the bedrooms. The victim was identified as 55-year-old Michael Frost. According to a Labette County Sheriff, Frost's body was taken for autopsy. The cause of fire is still under investigation. KBI says the death of a Crawford County woman is now a homicide investigation. KBI release revealed a woman discovered the body of her friend. 80-year-old Geneva Ham was found dead inside her own home. After an autopsy, officials ruled the death a homicide. Southwest Missouri man has been charged in the shooting death of his father. Michael Creekmore of Monette is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Officers got the call for shots fired Monday afternoon in Monette. They found 50-year-old Robert Creekmore lying in the road with several gunshot wounds. Officers say Michael told them he had emptied his gun into his father after Robert attacked him. Michael says his father had abused him his whole life. A Southeast Kansas man is sentenced to prison for child sex crimes. 49-year-old David Hundle of Coffeyville is sentenced for 1 count of attempted rape of a female child. In a hearing held last year, the victim testified that Hundle coerced her into sex by claiming to be a Dr. Susan. Hundle was sentenced to more than 12 years in state prison, but was credited for time already spent in prison. He will now serve more than 9 years. Missouri Southern State University tries to reach adult learners who may be working full-time or who have children. The university's new adult degree completion program provides 8-week online classes for most degrees to make learning easier for adults with busy lives. The program is meant for any adult who wants to either start college, finish their degree, or who works in a company that has a tuition and reimbursement plan. Some adult students may already be retired and want to achieve their long-term goal they were not able to reach before.
We applied for it and we received it, and a lot of those funds are being used for technology and software to help us set up this program here at Missouri Southern. And we will also probably have some sort of technology checkout program.
The director of the program says it has 5 starting dates a year. The Boots Court Motel in Carthage is getting a renovation. Original tile and hardwood floors will be in some of the rooms along with original desk. The front building will have carports and the neon strip will be put back after the outside work is complete. The Boots property was built in 1939 by Arthur Boots, and the back building was built in 1946.
Being purchased by a nonprofit, we are able to use the funds that we are making off of the motel to be able to turn back into doing things for the city. The first of which is the visitor center and the new office for the motel that's at the gas station property that's been purchased next door.
Renovations are still ongoing and they are looking at Maple Leaf Festival weekend to be completed.
All right, we promised to look at the weekend forecast, so let's take a look at it. We're looking at 87 Saturday with some late day storms and early morning storms Sunday, and 77 for an afternoon high. Cooling down, obviously, and we're looking at, obviously, too, these storms mostly going to be overnight. There's only a slight chance of those storms, though, unfortunately. We're looking at maybe 20% chance. We're dry up until the weekend, and then check out some of those overnight lows back into the 50s as we head into the next work week. Another warm and dry week ahead of us, unfortunately, at least from the drought perspective, not good. But for everything else, if you got outdoor plans, we still have some nice days ahead of us.
Give the AC a little bit of a break.
Yeah, you'll definitely be able to give it a pinch of a break as we head into the weekend with some of those overnight lows. So.
That's for sure. All right, thanks, Chris. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Joplin softball takes on Carthage. We're going to show you who came out on top.
Plus, we'll learn why some construction companies are going green when it comes to building houses.
And over 10 million children became orphans or lost their primary caregiver during the pandemic. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
This week is a big week for the Pittsburg State Gorillas. The Gorillas hit the road on Thursday night to face the 11th ranked Nebraska Kearney Lopers in week 1. Now, in week 2, both of these teams are 1-0 to begin the season. Pitt State beat Central Missouri 21-10 last week in their opener, while UNK got by Missouri Southern 24-7. Lopers team is kind of hard to stop offensively. They have the reigning MIAA Offensive Player of the Year in quarterback TJ Davis. They led the MIAA in rushing last year and led the league in time of possession. But the Gorillas are up to the task after holding UCM to 212 yards last week, including just 33 on the ground.
I love stopping the run, so I want to. The more run plays we get, the happier I'll be. We're still flying around to the ball, being physical to the point of contact. We just got to continue that. And this week, we really got to focus on doing our job, and we got to play unselfish football this week and take up blocks when we can take up blocks, and then make the play when we need to make the play. Really, we want to be the same team we are. We want to be the most physical and fast team there is. But the only thing that changes is just our schemes.
The Eagles are off to a hot start this softball season. The Eagles are 10-2 in their first 12 games. Joplin hits the field for the COC League opener, hosting the Carthage Tigers. This was a pitcher's duel early. Jill McDaniel in the circle for Joplin. Strikeout there in the first. Into the second. Couple more strikeouts from McDaniel. Scoreless going into the bottom of the second. In that bottom of the second, Ashlyn Jackson doing her thing too. Pair of strikeouts of her own. The sixth inning ended up being the difference. Joplin manages to get 4 in the sixth. They win 4-1. The Eagles are 11-2 and have won 5 straight games. In other COC action, a little rivalry game here with Carl Junction hosting Webb City. That one was close most of the way, but Webb City pulls away in the end, going on to win 10-4. The St. Louis Cardinals have 27 games left in the regular season. Coming into the day, the Cards are 79-56 overall and 7.5 games clear of the Brewers for first place in the NL Central. Cards are on the field for Game 2 of their 4-game series with the Nationals. Washington won Game 1 6-0 Last night's game goes to the Cardinals 4-1. Nolan Gorman 2 for 3 with a double, a home run, and a pair of RBIs. In the American League, the Royals host Game 2 of their series with the Guardians. Kansas City aims for its 3rd win in the last 4 games. The Royals, though, fall 4-1. Salvador Perez goes 1 for 3 yesterday evening with a solo homer for Kansas City. Still to come, more ancient artifacts were returned to Italy recently, and we're going to take a look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. We have got a decent rest of the week ahead of us, and can you believe it's already Wednesday? Because I sure can, because I kept thinking yesterday was Wednesday when I got home. All day I thought it was Tuesday, and then I got home and thought it was Wednesday. It's weird how the brain works sometimes. We're looking at clear and warm conditions today. We're watching those weekend rain chances, and then we're looking at 50s for overnight lows this weekend. So let's talk about all that. First, fog. We still have some, and as you can see, some areas are dealing with some slightly denser fog, and even on my drive in from Joplin, I ran into a couple of dense patches of fog, but it's not as bad as it was the last couple of days because it's been just downright foggy. That's all. Mostly clear skies at 7th and Rangeline right now, 65 in the fair city of Joplin as we start this day. We've got 62 in Iola, 66 in Chanute, 65 Pittsburgh, and 66 in Neosho. Now, as the kids get on the bus this morning, I just now realized I still didn't change that. It's mostly clear. It's not foggy this morning, but there will be some patchy fog. 63 at 7 a.m. with a nice northeast breeze. And as the bus brings them home, we're looking at mostly clear skies and 82 degrees. As we go through the rest of the day, as we mentioned, another warm one on tap for us, 77 at noon, high of 86, 75 by 8 under mostly clear skies. And heading into this evening, another cool one. This one is our first step towards some considerably cooler evenings. 69 by 11, 65 at 2, overnight low of 61 under mostly clear skies. Heading into the weekend, we're looking at late day to early morning, so overnight shower and thunderstorm chances. They're not very high, but they are there for the weekend. 87 on Saturday, mostly cloudy, 77 on Sunday, and then the clouds will eventually clear out. So make sure you've got the Skywatch weather app. Scan that QR code or search for KOAM Skywatch Weather to keep up on the latest forecast. So as we start to go down the road into the future, the immediate future, there's really nothing over the next 2 or 3 days. And then we head into the weekend, and that's when we watch our next storm system try and knock on our door and bring us a few of those scattered shower and thunderstorm chances, and then look at some of these lows that we're looking at as we head into the start of next week. We're talking almost chilly, almost cold compared to what we've been used to over the last few weeks. 89 tomorrow, 89 on Friday. Got those rain chances through the weekend, and then another warm and dry week ahead of us. And then look at those overnight lows again as they head back down into the mid to upper 50s starting Saturday night into Tuesday morning. Rising global temperatures and mounting greenhouse gas emissions are putting the planet on red alert, and it's causing the construction industry to take a greener approach to new projects. Jackie Ibanez has more on why architects are abandoning steel and concrete and why wood reigns supreme.
With the world facing a climate crisis, architects say the fight to curb greenhouse gas emissions is hitting close to home, literally.
The construction and operations of buildings accounts for between 36 and 40% of CO2 emissions globally.
That notion is ushering in a sustainable housing trend across the country, focusing on using renewable resources in place of steel and concrete.
Steel and concrete have a fairly large carbon footprint in terms of their production. They each account for about 10% of the carbon dioxide emissions globally. Wood, on the other hand, basically has zero or negative carbon footprint. The reason for this is because while trees grow, as you know, they sequester carbon during the photosynthesis process.
The initiative is on full display in the Big Apple, where this new condo unit, the Timber House, is living up to its name, with the building's structure made of composite wood beams called mass timber.
It has great performance and durability.
And because the wood is pleasant to look at, there's no need to waste extra materials like drywall to cover it up. But that's not all. The Timber House is packed with a slew of other sustainable elements.
It's super insulated. There's no gas anywhere in the building, no combustion. So everything is working on electricity.
Now, one thing potentially standing in the way of more wooden structures dominating skylines across the country are fears over fire safety. But architects say the thickness of mass timber products makes them harder to burn. That brings us to our something to talk about. Would you live in an environmentally friendly house? You can vote yes or no, and you can vote on our website, koamnewsnow.com/vote. You can also do so through our app by scanning that QR code, and of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Tapping Health Watch this morning, millions of masks used with sleep apnea machines have been recalled for safety concerns. Philips Respironics recalled more than 17 million masks used with their continuous positive airway pressure or CPAP and bi-level positive airway pressure or BiPAP machines. Food and Drug Administration says magnets connect and hold the mask components in place, but they can affect the function of implanted metallic medical devices like brain stents, aneurysm clips, and pacemakers. At least 14 serious injuries have been reported. The recalled mask types are DreamWear, AmeriView, Wisp, and Wisp Youth. FDA says people can continue to use the products if they or people around them do not have implanted metal objects in their body. An estimated 10.5 million children lost a caregiver because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Research published in the medical journal JAMA Pediatrics found that the majority of children were orphaned, while 3 million lost their primary caregiver. JAMA studied data from the World Health Organization. Most of the children impacted live in Africa and Southeast Asia. A study from the American Academy of Pediatrics found children of color accounted for 65% of children orphaned by COVID-19. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
As the kids get on the bus this morning, there may be some patchy fog to deal with, but otherwise not bad. 63 at 7 a.m. And when the bus brings them home, we're looking at mostly clear skies and 82 by 3. And as we go through the rest of the day, we have a warm one in store for you. 77 by noon, 86 the afternoon high, 75 at 8 under mostly clear skies. Mostly clear skies again tonight, 69 at 11, 65 by 2. Overnight low of 61 degrees. And taking a look into the weekend, we're looking decent, but we've got evening storms and early morning storms. So some overnight shower and thunderstorm chances Saturday and Sunday. 87 Saturday. Storm chances bring temperatures down to 77 by Sunday. So we're looking at a big cool down compared to what we have seen. Now let's take a look at that on the 7-day forecast, where you can see we got 89 tomorrow, 89 on Friday. The storm chances build in, and once they do, look at this overnight low here, 58, 54, 56. Temperatures come down, they become much more reasonable, and then we've got another dry, warm week ahead of us. More of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, authorities rule the death of an Arcadia, Kansas woman a homicide.
Not nearly as much fog to deal with this morning as we had the last couple of days. We'll take a look at your full forecast in just a couple of minutes.
And MSSU offers adult learners a new way to complete a degree.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:28. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. It is a nice day today. Can you believe it's Wednesday?
Yeah, well, you were here Monday, but I wasn't. So
yeah, and then I won't be here on Friday, but you will. So we're having a little trade-off this week.
Your holiday gets to be a little late.
I'm fine with that. Well, I mean, it's a 3-day weekend either way you look at it. So you can't complain about a nice little 3-day weekend. Hopefully some of you got to go out and enjoy the last 3-day weekend we just had for Labor Day. And if you didn't, don't worry. If you've got outdoor plans, we have a pretty nice end of this week lined up for you. 7th and Range line looking pretty good so far. We are sitting at 65 in Joplin, and we've got 60s across the area. 64 in Yates Center, 67 in Parsons, and 66 in Neosho. Kids getting on the bus this morning? Yeah, not too bad. Maybe some patchy fog. Otherwise, mostly clear skies. 63 at 7 a.m. And then as that bus brings them home, mostly clear. 82 by 3 o'clock. And as you go through the rest of your day, we're looking at an afternoon high of 86 under mostly cloudy skies. And tonight, mostly clear skies continue with an overnight low getting a little bit on the chilly side this time, around 61 degrees. But the question, how low can you go?
I used to be really good at limbo when I was short.
Well, in terms of low temperatures, 61 isn't even as low as we're going to go.
I like the sound of that.
We're going to take a look at just how low we'll go here in just a few minutes.
Keep it above freezing, go as low as you want.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay, there you go. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the KBI says the death of a Crawford County woman is now a homicide investigation. A KBI release revealed a woman discovered the body of her friend. 80-year-old Geneva Ham was found dead inside her own home. After an autopsy, officials ruled the death a homicide. A Southwest Missouri man is charged in the shooting death of his father. Michael Creekmore of Monette is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Officers got the call for shots fired Monday afternoon in Monette. And they found 50-year-old Robert Creekmore lying in the road with several gunshot wounds. Officers say Michael told them he had emptied his gun into his father after Robert attacked him. Michael says his father had abused him his whole life. And a Southeast Kansas man is sentenced to prison for child sex crimes. 49-year-old David Hundle of Coffeyville is sentenced for one count of attempted rape of a female child. In a hearing held last year, the victim testified that Hundle coerced her into sex by claiming to be a Dr. Susan. Hundle was sentenced to more than 12 years in state prison, but was credited for time already spent in prison. He will now serve more than 9 years. On Tuesday, authorities in Mountain Valley, Kansas released the name of a man found dead after a weekend house fire. Labette County deputies received a call about the fire just before midnight Saturday night. They arrived to find both the Mountain Valley and Altamont Rural Fire Departments putting out a fire at 110 East 6th Street. Firefighters discovered a body in one of the bedrooms. The victim has now been identified as 55-year-old Michael Frost. According to the Labette County Sheriff, Frost's body was taken for autopsy. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Missouri Southern gives students a chance to taste some world cuisine. The university's dining hall hosted an event called A Taste of Czechia. The event featured food from the Czech Republic, including pork schnitzel and bread dumplings. It's all part of the school's Czech semester to give students a broader experience of the world.
Is more of a the potato salad was a creamy potato salad, pretty hearty, and the tomatoes and cucumbers and onions in a vinegar sauce. It was really nice.
Other events as part of the Czech semester include an art gallery and a historical presentation on the city of Prague. On Tuesday, some Joplin High School students made a big donation. Members of the high school's Philanthropic Society presented a check for nearly $11,000 to foster Adopt Connect Joplin. The nonprofit helps provide services for local foster and adoptive families. The students worked on several fundraising projects over the last year to raise the money.
We're thinking about the kind of the foster kids that are in the high school that might be struggling with things that we don't really see. It's kind of like more under the surface struggle. So we were hoping that maybe by supporting this organization we could indirectly support them without trying outing them and as a foster child, because of how hard that we can only assume that is for someone.
The group will also be raising money this year for another nonprofit. Crawford County has a new health director. County commissioners appointed Deborah Anthony on August 30th. She served as a paramedic in the county for 11 years, and she spent another 11 years working with the health department. Anthony says the team around her has helped her settle in.
We've got some new videos out to help get information up to the public about some of the other programs that we do, because over the past 2 years, a lot of the focus has been on COVID. Everything has been COVID here. But we have a lot of other services that we offer every day.
Crawford County Health Department is at 410 East Atkinson Avenue in Pittsburgh. Missouri Southern is trying to help adults who are working full-time or have children to get a degree. KOAM's Yana Hatula learned how the program works and has more.
Missouri Southern expanded its programs to help adult learners through a degree completion program. It provides 8-week-long online classes, making the program more convenient for some.
A lot of them, they've hit some sort of ceiling in their own career. And now they've hit that point where a degree might help them earn a little bit extra money or make them eligible for a promotion that they're otherwise not eligible for. We have some students that are coming back and wanting to get a graduate degree or do some graduate work as well. So there's a wide variety of different students.
The program is meant for any adult who is wanting to either start college or finish their degree. Mount says several local companies are wanting to work with the program.
I think folks are really excited to be able to use some of their work experience towards college credit. That's a very big incentive for them, just to get them a little bit closer to their goal of getting a degree or in some cases a certificate.
According to a former MSSU student, a lot of people used to drop out when he was still in college. Now he is back to finish his master's degree.
I got my degree from Missouri Southern, my bachelor's degree in business in 1973. You know, you'd have children and jobs come up, and you know, at that time education just had to take a back seat.
For Stanley, finishing the degree is not all about getting better salary or position, but to achieve a goal that he has not had time for before.
I'm retired, so I've got plenty of time on my hands, and it's something that I've always wanted to do.
Setting a personal goal and helping them achieve it. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, really, that we don't talk about.
In Joplin, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Mount says those interested in joining the program can do so at 5 different times during the year.
As we head into the future on our future track, you can see we still stay with clear skies and decent temperatures head through the rest of the week. And then we're watching those late day storm chances as we head into Saturday, giving us mostly cloudy skies. Some showers and thunderstorms are possible overnight. And look at some of those overnight low temperatures that we could potentially see as we head into the upcoming weekend. So 89 tomorrow, 89 Friday, rain chances overnight on the weekend. Lows dropping back into the mid to upper 50s. Then we dry out and have another warm, dry, clear week ahead of us to start next week.
There we go. Well, this morning we are discussing sustainable housing. With the world facing a climate crisis, architects say the fight to curb greenhouse gas emissions is hitting close to home. The construction and operations of buildings account for about between 36 and 40% of CO2 emissions globally. That's according to one expert. The notion is ushering in a sustainable housing trend across the country, focusing on using renewable resources in place of steel and concrete. The initiative is on full display in the Big Apple, where this new condo unit, the Timber House, is living up to its name with the building structure made of composite wood beams called mass timber.
Now, because the wood is pleasant to look at, there's no need to waste extra materials like drywall to cover it up. But that's not all. The Timber House is packed with a slew of other sustainable elements. That brings us to our something to talk about this morning. Would you live in an environmentally friendly house? You can vote yes or no. So far, 77% of you say yes, 23% of you say no. And of course, you can vote through our website, in the app, and of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
I feel like a lot of people would agree with it and live in an environmentally friendly house. It's the cost that's keeping them from getting there, because it seems like anything green costs more.
That's true. At some point, we'll get to that stage where things that are green or more energy efficient won't cost nearly as much. I mean, think about it. I bought my first DVD player in 1999, and it cost almost $200.
Right.
All it could do was play DVDs and music CDs. And now you've got Blu-ray players and the Ultra HD players and all that other stuff that not only can do that, they'll display your family albums, connect to the internet, let you browse Netflix, and they don't cost $200 either.
Very true.
So
Very true.
We'll get to that sustainable point before too much longer.
Hopefully. All right, well, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. The KBI announces DNA was found in a 20-year-old murder case in Great Bend, Kansas.
Plus, parts of the Indian city of Bengaluru have been reeling from flooding following days of heavy rainfall in the region. Love the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, parts of the Indian city of Bengaluru have been reeling from flooding following days of heavy rainfall in the region. Bengaluru, which is located in the southern Indian state of Karnataka, has seen unprecedented amounts of rainfall in recent days compared to the last 90 years. The city's water supply was disrupted on Monday after the water pumping stations were also flooded. Now, according to authorities, this will only be restored by Friday. Karnataka has released around $75 million for relief efforts and other operations. Well, dozens of antiquities have been returned to their rightful country of origin. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office says 58 artifacts valuing nearly $19 million are now back in Italy. The items were found in museums, homes, and galleries across the city. 21 of them were seized from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The DA's office says the items were trafficked by 4 individuals. They ended up in the hands of Michael Steinhardt, one of the world's largest collectors. He's now banned for life from acquiring antiquities. The Consul General of Italy thanked the DA's office and Homeland Security for helping return the items. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're looking at a pretty decent day ahead of us. It'll be clear and warm today, and as we go into the weekend, we are watching some rain chances. They should hold off until the late day Saturday and then last into early Sunday morning. So the actual days on the weekend shouldn't be impacted by the rain, and then we're looking at 50s as overnight lows this weekend. Still dealing with some fog, not nearly as dense as it was yesterday, but you can see up around Fort Scott, it's a little denser in that area, but we aren't seeing it as bad as it has been the last couple of days. 7th and Range line, sky's looking pretty good. Roads are clear for the moment, but we all know here in another hour or so they'll be packed with cars. 65 degrees in Joplin under clear skies. We got 63 in Iola, 62 in Fort Scott and Nevada, 65 in Carthage, and 65 in Monette. Once the kids get on the bus this morning, maybe some of that patchy fog, otherwise mostly clear skies, 63 at 7 a.m. When the bus brings them home, mostly clear skies yet again, and 82 degrees. As we go through the rest of the day, it's going to be a warm one, but a decent one. Mostly clear skies across the board, 77 by noon, high of 86 and 75 by 8 o'clock. Mostly clear skies continue into the evening. 61's the overnight low. So a little bit cooler than what we've seen the last few days, but not bad at all. Heading into the weekend, we have those late day overnight storm chances. 87 Saturday, and then look at the temperature difference. 10-degree drop for Sunday, 87. Definitely cooling down. Make sure, of course, you have the Skywatch weather app. Scan that QR code or search for KOAM Skywatch weather in your favorite app store, where you can keep the forecast, radar, and everything else you need handy whenever you're not near a TV. Heading into the future track doesn't show much other than some of those cooler temperatures over the next couple of days. It's not until we head into the weekend again that we actually start to see storm chances coming in from the northwest. We'll have mostly cloudy skies on Saturday, overnight storms, and they clear out by Sunday. And as we head into Monday, check that out. Potential for maybe even 51 as an overnight low. We got 89 Thursday and Friday, mostly clear skies. Again, mostly cloudy Saturday, 87 with those overnight storms. Clouds will clear out late Monday with some early morning shower chances. 84 Monday, 89 on Tuesday. And then look at some of these overnight lows, guys. We're talking 58 Saturday night, 54 Sunday night, and 56 by Monday night. So definitely much more September-like across the area. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Southwest Missouri man is charged in the shooting death of his father. Michael Creekmore of Monette is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Officers got the call for shots fired Monday afternoon in Monette. They found 50-year-old Robert Creekmore lying in the road with several gunshot wounds. Officers say Michael told them he had emptied his gun into his father after Robert attacked him. Michael says his father had abused him his entire life. A Southeast Kansas man is sentenced to prison for a child sex crime. 49-year-old David Hundle of Coffeyville is sentenced for 1 count of attempted rape of a female child. In a hearing held last year, the victim testified that Hundle coerced her into sex by claiming to be a Dr. Susan. Hundle was sentenced to more than 12 years in state prison, but was credited for time already spent in prison. He will now serve more than 9 years. On Tuesday, authorities in Mound Valley, Kansas released the name of a man found dead after a weekend house fire. Labette County deputies received a call about the fire just before midnight Saturday night. They arrived to find both the Mound Valley and Altamont rural fire departments putting out a fire at 110 East 6th Street. Firefighters discovered a body in one of the bedrooms. The victim has now been identified as 55-year-old Michael Frost. According to the Labette County Sheriff, Frost's body was taken for autopsy. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. And the KBI says the death of a Crawford County woman is now a homicide investigation. A KBI release revealed a woman discovered the body of her friend. 80-year-old Geneva Ham was found dead inside her own home. After an autopsy, officials ruled the death a homicide. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And a check of that forecast as you head out the door. We're dealing with some fog across the area, not nearly as dense as we've seen the last couple of days, but you can see Fort Scott reporting some pretty low visibility this morning, so do allow yourself some extra drive time. 7th Range line, skies are looking pretty good. They are clear, and we are sitting at 65 in Joplin as we start the day with a light east breeze. We've got 62 Fort Scott, 65 Pittsburgh, 68 Miami, and 65 in Carthage to start the day. Kids getting on the bus around 7 a.m., some patchy fog, otherwise mostly clear skies, and 63 when the bus brings them back. We still have mostly clear skies, and 82 by 3 o'clock today. Going through the day, we got a nice warm clear day lined up for us. 77 at noon, 86 the afternoon high, 75 by 8. And heading into tonight, we've got a mostly clear night, 69 by 11, 65 by 2, and overnight low of 61, so a little bit chillier than what we've seen. For the weekend, we're looking at some overnight shower and thunderstorm chances. 87 Saturday, 10-degree drop Sunday, only 77 for an afternoon high. Make sure you have the KOAM Skywatch weather app as well. Just scan that QR code. Keep the latest forecast with you when you're not near a television set. Future track doesn't show a whole lot in the short term, and then as we go a little further down the road, that's when we'll watch shower and thunderstorm activity build in from the northwest, giving us mostly cloudy skies Saturday. Those overnight showers, they'll clear out Sunday, leaving us with partly cloudy skies. And look at some of these overnight lows. Could be a bit on the chilly side. Thursday, we're looking at 89. Friday, 89. We get the rain chances over the weekend and then a temperature drop. Overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. And then we clear out by the start of the next work week with clear skies and warm temperatures. We'll be right back after this.
On September 4th, 2002, 2 women in Great Bend, Kansas were murdered, and it remains unsolved to this day.
However, the KBI came out with news that they found DNA in this 20-year-old cold case. Sean Logging has more on the announcement.
People don't understand the depth of pain and anger, and it's deeper than probably most know.
Marking 20 years since her sister Mandy Alexander was murdered, Desiree Worth says there is anger and frustration as they still wait for answers and a lack of knowledge about the course of the investigation.
How can you not be incredibly upset? How can you not? So I know they do appreciate law enforcement, but, you know, let's get this thing solved.
24-year-old Mandy and 79-year-old Mary Drake were found killed in the Dolly Madison Bakery in Great Bend on September 4th, 2002.
This is a double homicide in Great Bend, Kansas, and it's just gone
up in the wind.
Just quiet? No, that's not right.
The KBI Tuesday says new technology led to finding male DNA in a sample taken from one of the victims. They have not matched it to anyone as of yet.
While useful, it doesn't help answer the question as to who that person is today. But it's promising, and we hope that it will help us in the future.
After these 2 decades, it's not just family and police seeking answers. A documentary filmmaker is looking to share and bring more attention to this case.
There's pain in every single person that was affected by this, and I mean, it's a small community as well, so I mean, the fear is evident as well in talking to people.
Aaron Mull grew up in Great Bend and remembers the impact of these murders on the community. He started working on this documentary 10 months ago.
The goal is just to have, 10 times more people to know about this case this time next year than do right now.
What family, friends, and police say they need the most is for people who saw something to come forward.
To think back on that day, and even though you think you may not have saw something, if you would come in and talk to somebody, they might be able to help you open those eyes.
Hopefully they'll get some closure here soon.
I was going to say, hopefully there's answers coming soon.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll be right back.
We're dealing with a little bit of fog this morning. Again, not nearly as much as what we've seen the last couple of days. However, check out Fort Scott. They're reporting 10th mile visibility, so make sure you are careful. And even on my drive from Joplin to here, did run into some patchy thick fog, so just do be cautious that it is out there. 7th and Range Line, the skies are clear, looking really good, and a nice start to the day too. 65 degrees right now in Joplin under those clear skies. We've got 66 rather in Fredonia, 67 Parsons, 67 Columbus, and 65 in Carthage as we start the day. As the kids get on the bus this morning, we're going to have the patchy fog, mostly clear skies otherwise, 63 at 7 a.m., and mostly clear skies are the theme later today as well. 82 by 3 o'clock when the bus brings them home. And as we go through today, temperatures are going to be looking pretty good. 77 at noon, 86 the afternoon high, 75 by 8 under mostly clear skies. Heading into tonight, another clear night. That's what it says. Mostly clear skies again tonight. Overnight low of 61 degrees. And we're watching some thunderstorm chances Saturday into Sunday, mostly overnight. 87 Saturday and 77 on Sunday, a 10-degree temperature drop. So let's just skip right ahead to the 7-day forecast. Why don't we? So 89 tomorrow and Friday. Rain chances over the weekend. Temperatures drop back into the 50s for overnight lows, and then we clear out and dry out for the week ahead with another set of pretty decent temperatures. We're back after this.
Coming up, authorities charge a Monette, Missouri man with first-degree murder after responding to a shots fired call and finding a gunshot victim in the road.
Patchy fog and otherwise clear skies to start the day. What does the rest of the week have to offer? We got that answer coming up.
And we continue with our series on energy sources in the four-state area as our own Chris Warner takes us on a tour of a local wind farm and shows us why wind is fast becoming the energy source of choice.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Did anyone understand what I just said a minute ago? Because that Tim just said he didn't. As soon as I walked away from that wall over there, it's like, what did I just say? I'm just not awake today. This is the first time in a long time since I've moved to mornings that I've just not been awake. Because I was talking with our camera operator, Trevor, and when we went to a commercial break, I did a double toss to the commercial break with this, we'll be right back just after this or right after this. It's just not working this morning.
It's like a pet peeve of yours not to do.
Yeah, there are certain things I don't, and then this morning I'm talking about the fog, and I just kind of lost my train of thought. I have foggy mind this morning because I don't know what I said after that.
Well, it's only 6 o'clock. We'll get you there.
Gosh,
we'll get you there.
Slowly but surely, it'll eventually be 7. Then maybe I can get a power nap in or something.
There's a full pot of coffee in that break room.
I can't drink the station's coffee. It's nothing against the station. It's just that the station's coffee upsets my stomach. And the last thing we need...
This is the problem. You haven't been here long enough. You haven't trained yourself to drink it.
I have tried it on more than one occasion. The last thing that needs to happen is for me to be losing the coffee in the middle of a weather segment.
That's true.
Be unpleasant for everybody and just completely ruin the forecast. Speaking of the forecast, it's actually pretty decent. Clear skies, 7th and Range Line. No coffee coming up anywhere that I can see on the tower cam. 65 degrees under those clear skies. Across the area, looking pretty good. 62 Fort Scott, Nevada, and Iola. 64 in Chanute, 68 Welch, and 66 down in Anderson. Kids getting on the bus today about 7 o'clock. Going to be 63, mostly clear skies with some patchy fog. And then we'll have mostly clear skies this afternoon, 82 by 3 o'clock. Going through the day, we're looking at an afternoon high of 86. So not so bad at all under mostly clear skies, and mostly clear skies tonight as well, but a little chillier than what we've seen. Overnight low of 61. And we are watching some late day overnight storm chances Saturday into Sunday. 87 Saturday, but look at Sunday. It's a 10-degree drop, and that's just in the high temperature. We're going to talk about what the storm system does to our low temperatures in the 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes.
All right.
If I can make it to that point.
And we're going to talk about wind energy as well.
We are going to talk about wind energy. Not so windy the last few days, but we will discuss wind energy.
That sounds like a plan. All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, authorities look to bring multiple charges against a Parsons, Kansas man. On Sunday, Parsons police officers responded to reports of an aggravated burglary at the 1200 block of Appleton. Officers witnessed a man, 33-year-old Mackenzie Corey Gamblin, leaving the house. And when authorities took Gamblin into custody, he began kicking and biting officers in an attempt to free himself. Police say Gamblin had entered the residence through the daughter's bedroom and went through her belongings after she fled the room. Authorities seek multiple charges against Gamblin, including aggravated burglary and 2 counts of battery on law enforcement officers. Authorities charge a Southwest Missouri man in the shooting death of his father. Michael Creekmore of Monette is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Officers received a call for shots fired Monday afternoon in Monette. They found 50-year-old Robert Creekmore lying in the road with several gunshot wounds. Officers say Michael told them he had emptied his gun into his father after Robert attacked him. Michael says his father had abused him his entire life. Crawford County has a new health director. County commissioners appointed Deborah Anthony on August 30th. She served as a paramedic in the county for 11 years, and she spent another 11 working with the health department. Anthony says the team around her has helped her settle in.
Staff has been really great. Our department's really not about the director's position. It's really not. We have a really strong team. They know how to get things done.
The Crawford County Health Department is located at 410 East Atkinson Avenue in Pittsburgh. Crowder College hosted a ribbon cutting honoring Liberty Utilities and Bill Martin. The recognition is for their contributions toward the remodel of one of their former chemistry labs into an emergency medical services classroom.
You know, I hope that they truly understand that Liberty cares and that Liberty wants to play a part in communities. And the biggest thing that I hope that they take away from this is that what they do day in and day out is so appreciated.
Liberty Utilities contributed $10,000 towards the remodel. Well, this morning we continue our look at how the 4 states generates power across the region, and there's a variety of power generation sources, and one of the newest in the area is wind power. Wind farms dot the landscape in parts of southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. Liberty Utilities built 3 wind farms in the area to help generate more environmentally sustainable electricity. Later in the show, our own Chris Warner heads to one of those wind farms to find out why wind power is becoming a new preferred choice for generating electricity. On this date in 1813, the United States gets its nickname, Uncle Sam.
The name is linked to Samuel Wilson, a meat packer from Troy, New York, who supplied barrels of beef to the United States Army during the War of 1812. Wilson stamped the barrels with U.S. for United States, but soldiers began referring to the grub as Uncle Sam's. The local newspaper picked up on the story, and Uncle Sam eventually gained widespread acceptance as the nickname for and personification of the U.S. federal government. In September of 1961, the U.S. Congress recognized Samuel Wilson as, quote, the progenitor of symbol of America's national symbol of Uncle Sam. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not with it.
That's all right.
Wilson died at age 87 in 1854 and was buried next to his wife, Betsy Mann, in the Oakwood Cemetery in Troy, New York, the town that calls itself the home of Uncle Sam. And I made a mistake yesterday. I was watching the wind report that ran at 6, and when I was writing all of these, there was no particular order initially. And so Dow last night said that we were wrapping up tonight. Look at the Southwest Power Pool, and that's not accurate. We are talking about natural gas on the news at 6 and 9 tonight.
That's right.
And then tomorrow we're wrapping up with natural gas. So when it comes your turn to read the story, don't
I'll try
say
to
we're
remember.
wrapping up.
I'll try to remember.
Because
yes.
like I said, there really wasn't an order to these stories initially, and I ended up just kind of flubbing that when I wrote them and didn't even think about it when they went into our planners for each day.
Back to the Uncle Sam thing, I had no idea that it was actually a real person they named him after.
See, I had heard that it was a real person, but I didn't know the story behind it, and that is extraordinarily cool. Now, I wonder how he feels, though, because he's also the personification of the IRS.
Yeah.
More than anything, Uncle Sam
the original Uncle
is
Sam
the
was
IRS.
giving them meat.
And the IRS is taking your meat.
Interesting. We'll leave it at that.
Quick look at the 7-day forecast. First, this is where we're watching those shower and thunderstorm chances this weekend as they bring us much cooler temperatures. We got 89 tomorrow and Friday. Rain chances through the weekend. Overnight lows in the 50s starting Saturday night. we clear out and dry out by next week with another round of warm temperatures under mostly clear skies.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and interesting today in history and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Joplin is hosting a Pride Fest this weekend. We've got guests in the studio to tell us all the details.
Plus, the search for a missing jogger now turns into charges for the suspected kidnapper.
Kidnapped last week during her morning jog is scheduled for another court hearing today. I'm Astrid Martinez with more on the charges he'll face and how they could lead to the death penalty.
And researchers say psychiatric mental health nurse practitioners are filling the void brought on by a drop in psychiatrists when it comes to treating patients. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, the suspect in the death of a Memphis teacher kidnapped last week during her morning jog is scheduled for another court hearing today on charges that could lead to the death penalty. Astrid Martinez has the latest.
An exhaustive search near the University of Memphis for 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher has come to a tragic end.
I've been praying ever since I heard the news. I was praying that she would be returned safely, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
Tennessee police say Friday morning, 38-year-old Cleotha Abston violently forced the kindergarten teacher and mother of two into an SUV as she was out on a pre-dawn run.
This finding marked the culmination of a 4-day intensive investigation incorporating a robust search and rescue effort and the timely arrest of suspect Cleotha Abston.
Abston will be in court later today on charges including first-degree murder. He was arraigned Tuesday before Fletcher's body was identified on charges of aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence.
This is just really sad. It hit home. I have sons. It's just senseless.
New court documents revealed tire tracks in a grassy area and an odor of decay led investigators to Fletcher's body Monday. A trash bag containing purple shorts, like the one she was wearing, was also found. Investigators say it's still too early to determine how and where Fletcher died. Astrid Martinez, CBS News.
District Attorney's Office tells CBS News right now it appears this was an isolated attack by a stranger and that Fletcher wasn't targeted. Court records show Abston had already served nearly 20 years in prison in another kidnapping case back when he was 16 years old. As a look at one of today's top national stories, now we're going to take a look at that forecast. Still dealing with some patchy fog this morning. Up in Fort Scott, they're still reporting some pretty low visibilities, and I ran into some dense spots here and there on the way to work, so do make sure you're giving yourself some extra time. Clear skies at 7th and Range Line otherwise, and a good start to the day as well, 65 degrees. And we've got 60s across the board, 62 in Iola, Fort Scott, and Nevada, 64 Pittsburgh and Lamar, 66 in Carthage and Neosho. As the kids get on the bus this morning around 7 a.m., some of that patchy fog, otherwise mostly clear skies, 63. And when the bus turns around and brings them home, we are looking at 82 degrees and mostly clear skies by 3 o'clock. As we go through the rest of today, though, we're looking at another warm one, but not bad. 86, the afternoon high under mostly clear skies, and we are looking at mostly clear skies tonight. A little bit chillier than what we've seen as well, 61, the overnight low. And we're watching some rain chances heading into the weekend, 87 Saturday, 77 on Sunday. So let's go ahead and take a look at that 7-day forecast. We've got 89 tomorrow and Friday. Late day, overnight rain chances Saturday into Sunday, and then check out these overnight lows in the 50s. And then we clear out by the start of next week with another round of warm temperatures ahead of us. More of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Welcome back. This weekend is Joplin's Jomo Pride Fest, and here to give us all the details, we have TJ Fisk and John Polito. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
I just have to say, I love how you guys are color coordinating this morning. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We did try to work it out before. So.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So this is really a 3-day event this year, which is the biggest it's ever been. It starts off Friday evening with a social and then goes through just a slew of activities all weekend long. Let's, do you want to just start talking about Friday night?
Yeah, so Friday night's going to be our Pride Social. It's going to be at Blackthorn Pizza and Pub. Come out. We're just going to have a lot of just like board members, community members, just to kind of get to know each other. We're going to have our event calendar as well, so you can get some, good firsthand, to see what's going on. And then also we're going to get some raffles started. So get some raffles for some prizes, gift cards, all that good stuff. So yeah, and then Saturday is our big Pride Fest with Crystal Method from RuPaul's Drag Race. Also Saint the Creator from Dragular Burlesque Stars. So.
How hard was it to get Crystal Method to come down here?
You know what? We actually have been planning a year ahead, so we actually booked her last year. It was pretty, it was easy in a sense, but I mean, we had to do a lot of work to gain those relationships, but she's from Springfield, so I think she was pretty on board with it. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
that helps, yeah.
Totally.
So what else is going on Saturday?
We have, we have 2 drag shows. The march is actually going to start at 11 o'clock on Joplin Avenue in between 4th and 6th Street. We have Men's Choir of the Ozarks coming. We have Dream Theater. We have our 2 main drag shows. We have drag story time with Susan B. Anthony, who's from Springfield as well. And then we have, a lot of other things going on, but that's till about at 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And you'll be able to go see all sorts of other drag shows as well throughout town at, is that Whiskey Dick's? There's one at Blackthorn. That one's going to be free. Then you can also go to the Locker Room as well, I believe.
Yep.
Are the drag shows in the evening? Or?
They're at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be after.
So the daytime activities are on Joplin Avenue?
Yes.
Yes. And you'll have like a section of the street blocked off?
Oh yeah, and then we have about 60 vendors so far. And then Sunday actually is going to start off with our drag brunch at Chaos Brewery at 10:30, and then it's going to switch over to Landreth Park from 12 to about 7 o'clock at night with drag shows. We have a talent show, a pet costume contest, all kinds of fun
Kids stuff. talent contest.
Kids talent contest, yeah. So.
And it's an all day long Sunday event as well?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so I've heard you name off a lot of businesses, a lot of restaurants, bars and stuff. Obviously you guys, you've built a lot of relationships with these businesses. How important is it to have community support like this?
Community support is necessary in order to run any sort of 501c3 like we are. Like it is necessary to have the community involvement because that's how all of everything works for us. Yeah.
And I'm the sponsorship director, so I deal with a lot of like companies and people that have, we've built relationships over the years. And I think this year we actually saw a big turnout of just a lot of diversity, I want to say. So you've seen it grow, a lot over the last years, and it's very humbling to see that the community is behind us.
Well, and I mentioned this year it's a 3-day event. Last year was a 2-day event. Of course, we had the pandemic. You did an online
virtual
version of
virtual,
it.
Yeah.
Everything had to be virtual that year.
It was fun though. It was different to change it up and kind of try something different. But everyone was still involved. Everyone still was really interested in just seeing everything that we had to offer. It was like a Pride Fest, but virtually.
Yeah.
How many people do you expect to come out this weekend?
Oh God, so it's going to be our biggest one. So we're thinking about close to 3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
We're really hoping to fill the streets.
Yes.
That's awesome. And you said like 60 vendors already?
Yep.
And I'm assuming some of those are food vendors?
Oh yeah, food vendors for the first time. We have so many people just selling crafts. We have nonprofits, for-profits, and then I think Sunday actually we have more vendors, so about 60 plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where can people go to find like a schedule of events for everything if they want to check out?
You can actually find that on our Facebook page. We have it listed with all of our itinerary that we have going on.
And in fact, we'll make it even easier for you and have a link to your Facebook page from our website.
Awesome.
You can check in and check out this interview and watch all the details, catch it again.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
Then you can go to the schedule from there. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Anything else I'm leaving out?
No, we're just really excited to invite everyone out. If you want to bring the family, pets, everyone's welcome, and we just encourage everyone to come out and just have fun with us and have a good time.
It's going to be a great weekend filled with a lot of activities, so make sure everyone comes out, sees everything that's going on. We've brought a lot of really great entertainers from all over the country, so.
As well as our locals too.
And the majority of it is all free.
Everything is free.
Yeah, everything with Pride is free.
Yeah, we don't make anyone pay for anything. That's why the fundraisers are so important throughout the year, because a lot of the community, it's their input. So yeah, everything's free to the community, so come out and have fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you too for coming on this morning.
Thank
really
you very
appreciate
much.
it.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Hope you have a great show, and the weather should be great for the weekend. We've got good temperature, so we won't be sweating too much.
Well, hopefully we'll see you out there too.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Topping Health Watch this morning, pregnant people who experience bigger fluctuations in stress had infants with more fear, sadness, and distress at 3 months old. Researchers at Northwestern University say moving between those extremes may shape the child's disposition toward negative emotions. Study authors suggest supporting expectant parents to help minimize stress. Research in the Journal of Nutrition, Education, and Behavior examined how various feeding practices used by parents influence their children's habits. Food as reward and food monitoring increased emotional eating in teens. But as parents restrained eating behavior, that was linked to less emotional eating in adolescence. Involving kids and preparing meals also led to lower levels of emotional eating. And researchers at Harvard say psychiatric mental health nurse practitioners are offsetting the drop in psychiatrists treating Medicare patients. A study shows that in states where those nurse practitioners don't have restrictions on prescribing medications, they account for 50% of all mental health prescriber visits in rural areas. And that's a look at some of our top health stories. Now, we're going to get a quick check of our top forecast story, and it is that you can see the fog. We've got patchy fog to deal with this morning at 7th and Range Line across the area, and otherwise, as you can see above the fog, clear skies. 65 degrees in Joplin right now. We've got 60s across the area, 63 in Yates Center, 67 in Parsons, 66 down in Neosho. As the kids get on the bus today, about 7 a.m., which will be about 34 minutes from now-ish, 63 and mostly clear skies. I told you guys earlier, I'm not awake today, and I apologize. Mostly clear when the bus brings them home, 82 by 3 o'clock. Going through today, we got a warm one lined up, mostly clear skies, afternoon high of 86, and more mostly clear skies going into tonight with an overnight low of 61 degrees. And then, of course, we're watching some rain chances into the weekend, 87 Saturday, 77 on Sunday. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, authorities charge a Monette, Missouri man with first-degree murder after responding to a shots fired call and finding a gunshot victim in the road.
We've got some patchy fog to start the day, otherwise clear skies. We're going to talk about your full forecast and some weekend rain chances coming up.
And we continue with our series on energy sources in the four-state area as our own Chris Warner takes us on a tour of a local wind farm and shows us why wind is fast becoming the energy source of choice.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. You ever have an inconvenient case where all of a sudden you get a little itchy in spots? Just out of nowhere. Now it just suddenly happened.
Usually it's like the tip of your nose or
something.
something.
Yeah, that's where it started, and then it moved to the sides of my head. I don't know what that is. It's annoying though, very annoying. You know what's not so annoying though?
Cooler temperatures?
Yeah, this forecast that we've got, it's looking good. Check out that shot back there. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Beautiful sunrise this morning in Joplin at 7th and Range Line with some patchy fog off in the distance. 65 under clear skies. We got 62 Iola, 66 in Columbus, and 68 in Miami. Kids getting on the bus this morning, and they will do so in approximately 30 minutes-ish. 63, mostly clear skies, and then mostly clear this afternoon, 82 by 3 o'clock. Heading for a daytime high of 86 degrees under mostly clear skies, which is not bad. And a not bad night, but a little cooler than what we've seen. 61 for an overnight low. And then we are watching some rain chances over the weekend. So Saturday night into Sunday morning, we could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. 87 Saturday, and then look at the 10-degree drop in high temperature, 77 on Sunday. If the temperature in the daytime is dropping by 10 degrees, what do you think that means for overnight lows? It's a mystery. But we're going to solve that mystery with the 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes.
I like lower lows.
Mysterious.
Lower highs and lower lows.
Good news all around. I'll be honest, it's good news except for the drought situation.
Yes.
This rain that we're getting is the only rain we're going to get for a while. It's good news for those that are in sports or doing outdoor activities as we start to head into the fall. But outside of that, it's not good news for farmers and those that are dealing with this
It's
drought.
not just here, too. I was having a conversation with my mom, who lives out in western Kansas, and we ended the phone call, and she told me to pray for rain.
Yeah, the drought situation is still pretty extreme and pretty widespread at this point.
Yeah.
But the rain we have seen has helped, just not enough yet.
That's true. All right. Well, thanks, Chris. Well, authorities charge a Southwest Missouri man in the shooting death of his father. Michael Creekmore of Monette is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Officers received a call for shots fired Monday afternoon in Monette. They found 50-year-old Robert Creekmore lying in the road with several gunshot wounds. Officers say Michael told them he had emptied his gun into his father after Robert attacked him. Michael says his father had abused him his entire life. A Southeast Kansas man learns his fate for a child sex crime. 49-year-old David Hundle of Coffeyville is sentenced for 1 count of attempted rape of a female child. In a hearing held last year, the victim testified that Hundle coerced her into sex by claiming to be a Dr. Susan. Hundle was sentenced to more than 12 years in state prison, but was credited for time already spent in prison. He will now serve more than 9 years. On Tuesday, authorities in Mound Valley, Kansas released the name of a man found dead after a weekend house fire. Labette County deputies received a call about the fire just before midnight Saturday night. They arrived to find both the Mound Valley and Altamont rural fire departments putting out a fire at 110 East 6th Street. Firefighters discovered a body in one of the bedrooms. The victim has now been identified as 55-year-old Michael Frost. According to the Labette County Sheriff, Frost's body was taken for autopsy. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. City of Sheldon, Missouri issues a boil water advisory, but the city is struggling to get the information out due to an internet outage. City officials cannot post on social media, the city's website, or through email. The city is currently dealing with a few water main breaks, and there is no word yet on when the issue will be resolved. Well, power comes to us in several different ways, and this week we've been exploring how we get electricity here in the 4 states. And this morning, we're heading sky high. Our own Chris Warner has more on how wind power is bringing power to the people.
The rural landscape of southwest Missouri and southeast Kansas is now dotted with wind turbines soaring 400 feet into the sky. Liberty Utilities has 3 wind farms that generate electricity. Individually, each turbine's not that powerful. Liberty's Senior Manager of Strategic Projects, Sean Rooney, says together they bring the power.
Each one of these turbines is between 2 and 2.2 megawatts, so relatively small generator, but you get to a site like this where we have 69 turbines, that's about 150 total megawatts.
Every bit of power generated still goes a long way to lighting your home.
Yeah, if you assume that 1 megawatt generator can power 400 homes, that means each one of these turbines could power approximately 800 homes, just a little bit more than that.
Like a large power plant, failure is possible in a wind turbine. Rooney says the loss of one turbine isn't that big of a deal. Even if an entire farm went down, Liberty has alternative generation sources. The blades on these turbines are massive, measuring more than 100 feet in length. Rooney says there's a good reason for their size.
Wind speeds can be drastically different a few hundred feet up in the air than they are at ground level, so there's not a motor in there. We're not turning them. We're not using electricity to make them turn. There's just more wind at 400 feet than there is at ground level.
Rooney says there are still other advances to be made, such as battery reserves for when the wind isn't blowing. But even then, he believes the future of wind power is bright.
Renewable energy is just growing by leaps and bounds, and I just really don't see any end for it in the future. Add on to that the fact that it operates without fuel, so this is electricity that comes at zero fuel cost. That's just a big win for everyone.
In Barton County, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Officials with Liberty say there are 277 total turbines in our area generating around 600 megawatts of power at full capacity. Now, tomorrow morning, we'll take a look at natural gas and how it brings power to the people.
And that's what I was talking about that I messed up earlier. Dow mentioned that we're wrapping up tonight with Southwest Power Pool. That's actually tomorrow night. I just got ahead of myself. So.
And then we'll have it the following morning with us.
Yes.
So if you can't watch tonight, don't worry, you can watch in the morning.
Exactly. If you're up this early, you may not be up that late.
I've always been fascinated with wind turbines and annoyed with people who call them windmills.
It's funny you said mills the way you did with meals, because that's how my youngest says them.
I didn't mean for it to come out that way.
He calls them windfills.
Okay, so windmills are, they go round and round, but they have multiple blades and they pump water, typically. They can pump other things, but they bring things up from the ground. Wind energy to bring things up from the ground. Wind turbines what you had
generate
in your story.
electricity.
They generate electricity. There's a
And
difference.
they're huge.
Yes, they're humongous.
I took the kids out to see the one up by Asbury when they were building it, and they had a turbine that was right next to this dirt road, and they were absolutely fascinated by it because they're just ginormous when you're right up next to them.
On my dad's farm, we still have a working windmill, so.
All right.
That's why I like.
There
This
is
the
a
windmill.
distinction.
Yes, yeah, takes you back. There you go. All right, speaking of taking you back, on this date in 1996, actor and hip hop recording artist Tupac Shakur is shot several times in Las Vegas, Nevada after attending a boxing match.
Now, Shakur was riding in a black BMW with Death Row Records founder Marion Suge Knight when a white Cadillac sedan pulled alongside and fired into Shakur's car. Knight was only grazed in the head, but Shakur was hit several times. He died in a hospital several days later.
Although some don't think that actually happened. Although Shakur's killer was never identified, some believe Orlando Anderson, a member of the Los Angeles gang Southside Crips, was responsible. Shakur's mother filed suit against Anderson for her son's death, but the case was never resolved because Anderson was shot to death in May of 1998 in a shootout outside a Los Angeles car wash.
Yeah, very interesting piece of history.
And some people
music
believe
history.
that Tupac never died, so.
There's lots of folks that believe many people are still alive that have been killed.
Yes.
Quick check of the 7-day forecast. So this is first off heading into Saturday. So we watch storms build in from the northwest. We're just looking at some scattered showers and maybe a rumble of thunder. 89 tomorrow and Friday, and then look at those overnight lows dropping back in the mid-50s as we head into the weekend and the start of next week. And after this brief chance of rain, we dry out and clear out for another warm week ahead.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Juul agrees to pay nearly $440 million after a lawsuit brought by dozens of states settles. The e-cigarette maker still faces hundreds of other suits. We'll have the latest.
Plus, we're finding green technology in just about every facet of our lives these days, including the houses we live in. And we want to know, would you live in an environmentally friendly house? We'll let you weigh in. We'll be right back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, after taking Monday off for the Labor Day holiday, Wall Street added to its recent losses on Tuesday. The Dow dropped 173 points. The Nasdaq fell 85 and the S&P 500 lost 16 points. Matt Piper has the latest headlines, including a major settlement in a teen vaping investigation.
E-cigarette company Juul Labs has agreed to pay nearly $440 million to settle a 2-year investigation by dozens of states into the marketing of its vaping products. Connecticut Attorney General William Tong announced the settlement, which includes restrictions on how Juul can market the high nicotine products. The investigation found that Juul marketed e-cigarettes to underage youth with launch parties, product giveaways, ads, and social media. Juul still faces 9 separate lawsuits from other states, as well as hundreds of personal suits brought on behalf of teens and others who say they became addicted. While no one can truly predict where the economy is headed, Goldman Sachs economists say the U.S. is showing signs of decline, but could avoid a serious downturn. The investment bank says in a new report that the U.S. appears likelier to experience a soft landing where hiring and wage growth slow without falling into recession. Investors worry the Federal Reserve's recent interest rate hikes could send the economy into a tailspin. And if you're looking for a place to retire that includes good weather, low crime and poverty rates, and laws against elder abuse, Wallet Hub says you might want to check out Charleston, South Carolina. The personal finance website is out with new rankings on more than 180 U.S. cities, and Charleston took the top spot for retirees. Orlando, Florida, and Cincinnati, Ohio rounded out the top 3.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Let's go over to Chris for our Something to Talk About.
Yeah, and this morning we're discussing sustainable housing. With the world facing a climate crisis, architects say the fight to curb greenhouse gas emissions is hitting close to home. The construction and operations of buildings accounts for between 36 and 40% of CO2 emissions globally, according to one expert. That notion is ushering in a sustainable housing trend across the country, focusing on using renewable resources in place of steel and concrete. That initiative is on full display in the Big Apple, where this new condo unit, the Timber House, is living up to its name with the building structure made of composite wood beams called mass timber. And because the wood is pleasant to look at, there's no need to waste extra materials like drywall to cover it up. But that's not all. Timber House is packed with a slew of other sustainable elements. And that brings us to our something to talk about. Would you live in an environmentally friendly house? Yes or no? 79% of you saying yes, 21% of you saying no. You can vote through our website, our app, take part in discussion on our Facebook page. Quick check of that forecast does show where we are watching a clear and warm day today. We got rain chances heading into the weekend, and then we're looking at 50s for overnight lows as we head into the weekend. So a pretty cool night ahead. Still dealing with some patchy fog out there. Some areas getting kind of dense, so if you are driving, do make sure that you're allowing some extra time. Thankfully, the fog not as bad as it has been. 7th and Range Line, you can see some of that fog off to the northeast, but it's still pretty patchy. It is currently 65 in Joplin under otherwise clear skies. We got 60s across the board, 64 Chanute, 66 Columbus, and 66 in Neosho. Kids getting on the bus in the next 15 minutes or so, 63 mostly cloudy or mostly clear skies with some patchy fog. 82 by 3 and mostly clear skies, and planning the rest of your day, we're looking at 86 for an afternoon high with continued mostly clear skies, and mostly clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 61. More of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant First Class Richard Hoskins. The Joplin, Missouri native served in Germany, Korea, and Vietnam over the course of 22 years. This decorated veteran earned the Bronze Star, the Good Conduct Medal, and 2 Battle Stars. To Sergeant First Class Richard Hoskins, we thank you. Today's four-state hero.
All right, it is time to celebrate some birthdays today, and we begin in Cherryvale with Sage Avery Matthews turning 3 today. Happy birthday to you, Sage.
All right, and all the way out in California, we're wishing a happy birthday to Corlin Nesbitt, who is now 7 strong. Now, why would we be wishing Corlin a birthday all the way out in California? Because Corlin is a former Oswego resident, celebrating a golden birthday with love from the family, especially Grandma and Grandpa, who are still here in Oswego.
We've also got Dexton Morgan turning 10 over in Chautauqua. Dexton, a very happy birthday to you.
And Camry Neville is 11 years old this year. Camry celebrating in Arma. Happy birthday!
And we've got Gabe Kimsey celebrating birthday number 16 in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday, Gabe.
All right. Shante Sanchez celebrating birthday number 36 this year in Webb City with love from Mom and Izzy.
And we've got Melody Carnes. Melody's birthday was on Sunday, but we are wishing her a happy birthday today because why not celebrate for several days in a row? Melody is in Joplin. Happy birthday to you.
All right, Brian and Susie Natalini are celebrating 38 years of wedded bliss today. They're celebrating in Columbus. And I understand that Susie is one we should recognize because she has a very busy time submitting birthdays and anniversaries for people in the bus, because that's why we can party in the bus.
And Susie, you do a great service to the community of Columbus. Otherwise, there would be no party in the bus. We also have Alyssa Tanner turning 29 in Parsons. Stephen Picanu, celebrating birthday 16 in Joplin. This comes with love from Mom, Dad, Sister, Bubby, and Nanny. Tammy Creviston turning 53 in Iola. We aired your birthday yesterday, but we had a misspelling, so we are so sorry, and we're going to celebrate it twice for you, Tammy.
Helen Normand is celebrating a birthday today along with Simi Peacock in Miami. Simi's birthday was actually yesterday as well. And in Columbus, Charlie Norris, happy birthday. If you have a birthday or an anniversary, you can submit that to us at birthdayswithans@KOAMTV.com or send them to us at birthdays@KOAMNewsNow.com.
And while you're visiting our website, why not take an opportunity to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club? You get some great deals from local businesses. All you have to do is sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club by going to KOAMNewsNow.com. We are taking a look at some clear skies, patchy fog out there as well, but not as much as what we saw yesterday. 65 in Joplin under otherwise clear skies, 63 Yates Center, 66 Columbus, and 66 in Neosho. Kids set to get on the bus in the next few minutes. As they do so, about 63, mostly clear skies with that patchy fog. Heading into the afternoon, when the bus brings them home, about 3, mostly clear skies, and 82. As we go through the rest of today, we are looking at an afternoon high of about 86 degrees with mostly clear skies. I'm going to say mostly clear one more time because that's what we've got tonight with an overnight low of 61. And then we're watching some rain chances this weekend. 87 Saturday, 77 on Sunday. And a quick check of the 7-day forecast shows we've got 89 tomorrow and Friday under clear skies. Those rain chances, they bring the highs down and they bring our lows back into the 50s. Then we clear out and dry out for the week ahead. We're back after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Southwest Missouri man is charged in the shooting death of his father. Michael Creekmore of Monette is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Officers got the call for shots fired Monday afternoon in Monette. They found 50-year-old Robert Creekmore lying in the road with several gunshot wounds. Officers say Michael told them he had emptied his gun into his father after Robert attacked him. Michael says his father had abused him his entire life. Southeast Kansas man is sentenced to prison for a child sex crime. 49-year-old David Hundle of Coffeyville is sentenced for 1 count of attempted rape of a female child. In a hearing held last year, the victim testified that Hundle coerced her into sex by claiming to be a Dr. Susan. Hundle was sentenced to more than 12 years in state prison, but was credited for time already spent in prison. He will now serve more than 9 years. On Tuesday, authorities in Mound Valley, Kansas released the name of a man found dead after a weekend house fire. Labette County deputies received a call about the fire just before midnight Saturday night. They arrived to find both the Mound Valley and Altamont Rural Fire Departments putting out a fire at 110 East 6th Street. Firefighters discovered a body in one of the bedrooms. The victim has now been identified as 55-year-old Michael Frost. According to the Labette County Sheriff, Frost's body was taken for autopsy. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. KBI says the death of a Crawford County woman is now a homicide investigation. A KBI release revealed a woman discovered the body of her friend. 80-year-old Geneva Ham was found dead inside her own home. After an autopsy, officials ruled the death a homicide. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As the kids head out the door this morning, we're looking at some patchy fog, otherwise mostly clear skies, 63. And when they come back today, mostly clear and 82 by 3 o'clock. Going through today, we've got a warm one in store. Afternoon high of 86 under mostly clear skies. And then this evening, the mostly clear skies trend continues. Overnight low of 61. And then a look at the 7-day forecast shows where we're watching some rain chances Saturday night into Sunday morning. 87 Saturday, 77 on Sunday, 89 by the way Thursday and Friday. And then after this brief chance of rain, we get temperatures overnight in the 50s, and then we dry out and have warm, clear conditions for the week ahead.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making restaurant-style onion strings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
All right, and your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Updated COVID-19 boosters are here and targeting Omicron subvariants BA4 and BA5. Ahead on CBS Mornings, Dr. Celine Gounder explains how the shots work and who should get them right away.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, James Coover and Francis Grays from the K-State Extension Service head into the studio to tell us all about the Makers Fair and Extension Expo.
Plus, our own Amber Jenkins takes us to the Carthage Technical Center for an open house to welcome some potential nurses.
All right.
That's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.